Welcome back. Sun finally popped out here with the end of the day, but it's pretty breezy. Leaves are coming down. Remember, the Amish had come out and cut a couple bad trees here. They had woodpecker holes in them, and they took some of the wood and they left this, and one was a leaner up into here, and to get it down, instead of tugging with the tractor, they went in back of it, I don't know if you can see it, and cut a pine tree, and that allowed it to go over, and I didn't really want that cut, but whatever. And this one, when it went over, busted this one up, so I got to cut that. What I want to do is get these out. I'm gonna, this one's cherry, looks like a beech under there, cherry. That one, I don't know what it is. And then there's another cherry there, and then the pine. And that's just on this side they did some more. And what I want to do is just go through and limit right now. And recently I sold my old Poland Pro and I bought a Husqvarna. I haven't even got it out yet, but I want to use it on this probably. But let me limit this right now. Just a little project this afternoon to get away from what we've been doing, which was the porches and the, you know, all the painting and working in the carport and the other porch. I got to get a break from that and do something different. And I want to get some of this wood out. So see if you're interested in this. First of the season cutting firewood. So I've got one of them magnetic base things that click on the side of your saw bar, because I want to do these in 16-inch. And if I do them by eye, you know, sometimes they're close enough. But sometimes if they're more than 16, they don't fit in the stove well. So, and if they're short, people don't like them short. So I'm going to try to cut them accurate. I have used a tape measure and chalked them. But I'm going to try that magnetic bar, see if that thing works. I don't know. But I want to start topping these. So it's just one of these magnetic, adjustable. I think you can get 16, 18, all the way down to 12. And it just sticks on the side of your saw. And put it where your chain's not going to hit. Then just go up to your wood and then just do your marks that way, left or right side. And we're not going to do that yet. What we're going to do is take the limbs, just delimit here first. And I'm going to use this Ryobi brushless 12-inch I got. I've had this a few years. Works great. It's got oil. I just put oil in it. I'll set this here. I'll probably put it up on time lapse. But I got to get a start on. I just keep putting this off. Now we're getting to wet, cold weather, and I was like, oh, I wish I got it out sooner. Got it stacked and start drying. But I usually split wood when it starts getting cold. I don't know why. It just seems like it's a boring task, you know. And when it gets cold, I can't paint and do other projects. So I'll put it on time lapse. I think I'm going to head out in there and cut that tree. That bugs me. And then delimb down through there, and then delimb this one, and we'll see what we can do here. Well, I made a little progress, but there's several trees that are knocked over underneath there. There's a lot of tension on them. So I think what I'll do is start at this end, and then I'll cut and I'll bring out what I got. I'll cut them up small enough I can get them with a tractor, lift them up. Maybe I'll go ahead and mark and cut them, block them here, or I'll stack them out in the driveway and block them. But there's quite a bit in here. I think there's 4 trees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trees right here. So it's a lot of work, plus that pine. A lot of work. It's a shame, but I want to get it out before the snow flies. I can't get back in there too good with a tractor, but I'll hook a bunch of chains or straps and drag them up here, cut them in sections. Well, that's tough going. This is, you know, probably like a 70-footer. And it goes way down in there. And I got how many logs out? And I've got a twin next to it. So I've got just about half of it out of this one. And we still have this one. And it starts here, goes all the way down in there. So that's probably a 60. And this one, I think, is a 70. And then right where that sets is the pine tree. They cut that. I wish they didn't. Hemlock. And I don't know why they did that. And I already cut one log in there. So I got one to pull out. 2, 3, 4. I think I got 5 more cherry logs to pull out of this one. And I'm cutting them, you know, 12 to 16 feet long. Not measuring. And then we got this beech tree under here that goes all the way up there, and that's 50 anyway. I want to take that, and then this cherry here. And I'm only using that Ryobi. I figured I'd just limit, but that chain is pretty sharp. I've gone through 3 batteries, and I just keep one on the charger, and they're working. You can see the end of that log there. It's making a beautiful looking cut. Nice and sharp. A lot of chips flying. See how nice that is? Whoa. So the reason we cut these is woodpeckers got in them. There's big holes in them. And I never seen a, you know, woodpecker make holes in the cherry. I've seen them in the ash, but trying to get that beetle. But apparently there's bugs in that too. So, and there is one ash tree in here I can't seem to find. They must have took that one. There's an ash right there. And, you know, that thing is all of 75 feet tall. My lift goes up about halfway. And I want to get this all cleaned up. So now you know how I do it. When I'm just hooking a small chain around them and pulling them up, the backhoe helps because I can reach out and pull and lift because they're getting stuck on the stump there. You got to kind of lift and roll it and get it out of there. I do have a roadway down below this hill, but it's down another 50 feet. So this is still shorter. And so I think I'll get a couple chains end to end, hook on these, and then get these out. And I'm stacking them over there by the woodshed. And when I get them in it, we'll start blocking it and splitting it. But not now. We'll get them out of here. So I want them to season, but I don't want them to get, you know, wet. Got to get them to dry out, stay dry, and I don't know if I'm going to use them or sell them, but it's good wood. Let's use it. Just skidded this one out. I had to use 2 of these long straps, but underneath it was a birch tree right there. See that? But you take your fingernail and scratch at and do a sniff. It smells like root beer, birch beer. That's pretty cool. Really sweet. I got 3 more logs back in there I'm going to use long stuff for. Then I got to move some brush here, and then I got to work on this. We're running out of daylight, maybe tomorrow. Well, there we go. A couple hours. Sun was here, sun's there. And it's getting cold out now. When I pulled some logs up through, I was grabbing big rocks and sucking them right out with them. I pulled a little stump, ripped that up out. And that was that birch tree. There is some more down in here, but the extra long logs. That's how they cut that pine. They cut in, and the wedge is long that way, and it sits over there. That's kind of strange. Looks like they were going to try to drop it that way, right? I don't know. Not a very good looking wedge, is it? Terrible. I don't know what they were thinking, but it looks like it twisted and went down in here. It's going to be fun to get this out because it's not, I can't get in here with a tractor to scoop it up. There's that other cherry. And that goes all the way right to there. So that's all about the same length. I'll get quite a few logs out of that I got to block up. And then this pine, well, not too healthy, but it wasn't dead. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's not good enough for lumber, and maybe it is, but I don't have a mill. Wish I had a lot of money. I'd have one of everything. I'd mill me up some boards. But I guess what I got to do is cut that up and get that out of here. Got all these limbs. There's a whole bunch of limbs on a pine, and that stops you from dragging it. They dig right in the ground. Otherwise, it'd be nice to finish cutting that and then drag the whole thing up there where I can get to it. You know, that'd be real nice. I can get the forks under and then cut. Forks under and cut. Probably end up putting a burn pile. And there's an old beech tree. It was big canopy up there, and that thing went over. That thing was rotten. And we got cherry left in here. Good enough for firewood. We probably got an 8-footer. Probably a 12. And then some short stuff. And not a whole lot to mess with. But I'd like to get this all cleaned up. Then you get new growth coming, you know. We got some ferns. But we get some new trees popping up. But that's how the Amish cut that. Look at that thing split all the way down. I don't know. They didn't do a very good wedge. You see these rolls? I don't know if you can tell on the film, but that's quite a big hole. See the mound? That's an old tree fell over, you know. If I could reach out in here, I wish I had an excavator. I'd come out and scratch them off level, you know. That'd be cool. The backhoe, it's very hard to get in here because it's so low ground clearance. But the canopy, you know, this was cut off a few years ago, and I come in and cleaned up a lot of brush, got some firewood, and then I burnt the tops. Got a little more to do here. And then this up here, that's 12, 10, 8, 6 up there. So I still got firewood. And then down there, it's like 22, I think. So, gonna get some firewood. That's a good ash tree there. Decent cherry there. An ash and a cherry. But they're big enough they could be cut now. So, I don't know if I got enough of them to make any money on them. But I'd like to get the floor here cleaned up so that, you know, you can walk through here. This is this old dead one. I wish I had a grapple on the tractor. I'd sneak out in here with nothing on the tractor. And, just to grapple and grab some of these, stack them up, burn them, or bury them, because it's hard to walk. You can see I come in here and I started topping some of them, and they just kind of rot down. But I'm going to end this video out cleaning up this mess from the Amish. They, you know, they work fast, they work hard. I don't know, that's strange cutting on that, and I wish they didn't cut the pine. What I wanted is more of a tree break for the neighbors down there, you know. I want the pine trees because they have needles all winter. But check out that cherry there. They grow tall up here. Pretty crooked, but probably get some 16s and 8s, 10s out of that. So I'll see you on the next project. I'm going to pluck away at this. Probably take me a couple of days. I'm going to stack the logs up, and I might as well go over and show you. I'll come in tomorrow, get a little time, and I'll nip these off. And then I usually split right down to probably that, 6 inches. And then to get a decent piece of wood out of it. And then I'll probably come back through and scoop all these tops up on the forks and dump them and burn them when we get a little snow on the ground. But see that cherry? That's pretty nice right there. It's a shame it went up about 20 feet and a big old hole in it from woodpeckers. I could see them gnawing on it. See the base? So, see what doesn't add up is they cut that and there's that. So there's something missing here. So they must have taken some of them. And then that's it. I want to clean this all up. But see, that's a big old hole in here now. I want that canopy to fill back in. But that pine tree kept it pretty private. And let's go check out what we did. Well, on the way over, I might as well show you. This is where a cherry tree was, I think right there. And then there was one there, and then a hemlock there. Kind of a strange setup. But what I wanted to do, and I didn't ever get to it because I was painting the house this season, is I wanted to get the box scraper out with the rippers and just go through here and rip out any junk. It's got 6 rippers in it, and then take and pull the rippers up and just scrape it, get it kind of level, and then run the York rake through here, clean up the debris and just shove it off in the woods and get this thing seated down. Because what I do is I tend to stack lumber and park trailers, and you know, this is pretty good sized lawn here. This is probably 60 by 60, and we're losing that, so I kind of want to gain that back. And the Amish cut on this side, and they cut an ash, and it's up in there, part of it over here, and then they got a cherry out in here, maple here. So I want to scoop these up too and put them in our pile, but this is a pit stop on the way over to our pile. And I started stacking some of them good enough for firewood, and I got to finish cutting these up, get these logs out of here. I can drive out in this section because these hemlocks, it tends to be you know, a lot of shade in here. We don't get a lot of new growth. And there's ash. I got to cut that up, get that out of here. And then over here, that big ash was there, and that was all full of woodpeckers, and the bark was peeling right off from it. And it actually dropped some, but it was up in here, and they just left it leaning. I was like, "You're gonna do anything with that?" And they said no. I'm like, really? So what good is this, you know? That's well, that's 20 feet up there. So I gotta cut this up, and I'll probably cut it small enough, and I'll just set it right on the forks, because this isn't going to be neat to pick up. And I want to get all this cleaned up in here, and I don't know. Yeah, I'm kind of glad they took them down. I just didn't like the mess they left, and it's kind of the way it is. I did find a pair of sunglasses over there today and a tape measure, so it was the kind I don't buy. So I know they had them in there. I think they were cutting a couple logs. But there's quite a bit of wood in here yet I got to get out. And our four-wheeler trail goes out through there. And it goes out quite a ways, and then it goes down in, and there's like a wetland thing. Kind of cool. So let's go check out our logs. Dawson pressure washed his decks and his building, and he's going to buy some paint and touch that up. Getting that around. It looks pretty good. He was up there and he cleaned off the roof. He said the roof looks brand new. He pressure washed it yesterday. So here's what we come up with. Not bad for a couple hours, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13 logs there. That's quite a bit of firewood, right? And they're not rotten, you know. I think if we roll them enough, you can probably find the holes in them. You put your hand inside of them. But I don't see the rot. Not bad looking stuff. It's a shame you gotta cut them, you know. But the power lines, there's one there. See the rot? There's some there. And then woodpecker started chewing some holes. They were inside of it. And bought a lot of chips on the ground. And I should have left them on top. But there's a couple in there with big holes in them. And I didn't dare leave them standing. If you look over the house, there's a transformer. And they came right up through there. And I did not want them to get blown over the wind right on the power line that close to the house. So I said, take them down. And then this ash tree was right here, and that's still out in there. And then the other ash tree was there. Where was it? One of them two spots, and it went out there. So probably maybe one more day, and then one more day of cutting and moving the logs out here, and then probably one day with the tops. So check out, we still got a marigold going. I'm surprised. We had a few frosts, and Dawson's got his pumpkin out here. Happy Halloween. Hey, we'll see you guys soon. Thanks for watching. A couple hours in the afternoon.